Here comes a new challenger. Enter Capcom with this beautiful ultra deluxe and hard-wearing Capcom Home Arcade. In the UK here it's $199.99, built with real arcade-spec Sanwa hardware, and it's about to leave a Shoryuken scar right across the chest of pretenders like the comparatively pitiful PlayStation Mini. The first thing you notice is that it's shaped like the actual Capcom logo, complete with the colours of the logo mapped across the surface of the buttons. I appreciate this design's not been to everyone's taste on the interwebs, but as far as I'm concerned it's a great success. This 16-game, high-quality arcade collection is aimed at real arcade enthusiasts. Now if you're too young or just uninitiated, you may well become a convert when you take this beauty for a spin. These games hail from the golden age of arcade gaming of the 1980s and 1990s, back when getting the best graphics required you to insert a coin rather than insert the latest graphics card into your PC. And 3D? Well, that was just something that games pretended to be. There's not a polygon in sight here. Instead, you get some of the finest 2D visuals ever seen, even by today's standards. The comparatively low resolution of the sprites only adds to their charm, and I absolutely believe it should be played without the smoothing filter applied. These pixels are beautiful and deserve to be felt against your retinas without emulated optrex to make them feel less harsh. The animations are sublime, with detail levels ramped right up, and while there is occasional authentic slowdown, for the most part it runs at the old arcade standard of 60 frames per second. Many of the games have several characters to choose from too, each looking as good as the last, which must have taken incredible skill to draw, animate and program. You're looking at months, perhaps even years of work for some of these, all shown off in just a 5-minute blaze of quality gaming. These are coin-operated titles, so they needed to be accessible and fun straight from the moment you start playing. And boy, they don't disappoint in the slightest, most still providing that arcade buzz even today. All the footage that you're seeing here was captured at the preview event by my good self, and aside from having rather a lot of Street Fighter experience, I really haven't played any of the other games for very long at all in the past, if at all. Even so, not only did I get to grips with things like this excellent little tennis game, I was able to do pretty well at a lot of them. But even though it makes you feel like you're amazing at them, the difficulty level is high because they want you to play it again. So there really is challenge for repeat play, but at the same time, it's fun as soon as you pick it up, and that's really refreshing. With the 2 sticks on the unit, this is absolutely the sort of thing that you should play with friends around. But if you haven't got anyone around to play at the same time, there is a high score table which actually links to Wi-Fi so you can share your scores with the world. That's pretty awesome. The options for the display are straightforward, and you get all the size variations with or without that filter I was talking about. I know some people need the filter to make it look a bit more modern, but honestly, to me it seemed to add some vertical screen tearing, which is a really weird thing. But like I said, just play without it. It just looks great. Despite the quality of the hardware and the quality of the emulation, it's the games that are the real stars here. I remember watching a video someone else put up a few months ago about the system and thinking to myself that the game selection seemed a bit lacking and there wasn't much on there that I really wanted to play, but I take that all back now, having tried all 16 games. There's more than enough here to justify the price point, and there really is something for everyone, from the 3-game sport pack through to vertical and horizontal shooters, platformers, brawlers, 1v1 fighters, and even a puzzler in the shape of Super Puzzle Fighter, which is brilliant fun, channeling Puyo Puyo, albeit with its own unique take on the rules. You're only really missing a driving game and a light gun game from the all-time classic arcade genres, but I assume you've already got a Switch with Outrun and Virtua Racing, right? And as for a gun game, well, that's another piece of hardware altogether, so that's fine by me. The event was clearly billed as a preview event, not a review event, so I'm not actually allowed to give you a score, but I'm sure you can tell I'm rather enamoured with this one. I would also say that the games themselves have a little more mainstream appeal than the Neo Geo Mini I reviewed recently, which I did love, and the breadth and variety of the game selection seems a little more balanced here on first play as well. It still feels exciting to play such well-developed 2D games, and they push all my video game buttons. Beautiful attract modes, hundreds of sprites on the screen, massive bosses, ridiculous digitized sound bites, special moves, animated backgrounds, and some now very un-PC 1980s iconography. There's no way a lot of these games will get the green light today, and I must say I'm glad that the 1980s vision of the future doesn't look anything like the present of 2019. The only thing I would say on a downside is that the rotating stick feels weird because it sort of twizzles about in your hand, and also having to push the buttons repeatedly gets tiring very quickly. I guess we're just not used to hammering buttons like this anymore, unless you do play Street Fighter games with a proper joystick setup, in which case you'll wonder what I'm complaining about. If you miss real arcade games, then I suspect you're absolutely going to love this. It's due out on November the 8th, as I say, for $199 in the UK and around $260 US. Thanks so much for watching. Do check out these other retro gaming videos on my channel, and please hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment to say what you think of the unit. Take it easy until next time, when hopefully I won't be so bunged up, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.